this is Adil. Today I will be discussing a new topic for you, that is growth hormone. Growth hormone is a very important hormone so far as our growth is concerned. It's a polypeptide hormone and it contains 191 amino acids. And this hormone has given a lot of names, like it's also called somatotropin or human growth hormone, hyperglycemic hormone or diabetogenic hormone. There are lot of hormones in our body which have the diabetogenic effect, or we can say they have hyperglycemic effect, which increase the blood glucose level. Here I will mention those hormones. First hormone is the growth hormone, and the other hormones are catecholamines. Catecholamines like dopamine, epinephrine, and non-epinephrine, and the thyroid hormones. And glucocorticoids like cortisol and the glucagon. Now, these all hormones are diabetogenic hormones. They increase the blood glucose level. And the hormone, that is insulin, it is the only hormone which is hypoglycemic hormone. This hormone decreases the blood glucose level. Now, as you can see here in the picture, if you see the effect of the growth hormone on our body, as you can see here, there is a fatty person. This fatty person gets converted into a muscular person. It's due to the growth hormone. Growth hormone is responsible to make our body, we can say lean. We can say to make our body muscular. This is the main function of growth hormone. Now, growth hormone is secreted by the cells which are present in the anterior pituitary, which are called as somatotropes. Here I have mentioned that cell in the blue color. Now, there are the factors which are secreted from the hypothalamic neurons. Here I have drawn the hypothalamus. There are the neurons which are hypothalamic neurons. These hypothalamic neurons secrete a hormone which is known as growth hormone releasing hormone, GHRH. This GHRH comes down all the way through this red structure, which is a vascular structure, which is known as hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal system. Now, this growth hormone releasing hormone will all the way come down. Eventually, it will reach to anterior pituitary part. Now, it will act on the receptors on the somatotrope. Now, there are the receptors present on the somatotrope. Suppose this is a receptor for the somatotrope, growth hormone releasing hormone. Now, this growth hormone releasing hormone will act on this receptor. Now, when this GHRH act on the receptor, this somatotrope gets activated. When this somatotrope gets activated, it secretes a hormone, that is growth hormone. Now, this growth hormone will enter into our blood. Here is your growth hormone. Now look, this growth hormone, after entering into the blood, it goes to our liver. In the liver, there are specific cells which are called hepatocytes. Now, this growth hormone, here I will show, it will enter into liver. In the liver, it will act on the hepatocytes. In the liver, as I have mentioned, there are hepatocytes. On the hepatocytes, there are specific receptors which are called one-pass receptors. It will act on that receptor. Now, our growth hormone is here. Now, this one-pass receptor gets activated. When this receptor gets activated, it activates a pathway which is known as JAK-STAT pathway or JAK-STAT machinery. Now, we will see how this receptor activates this JAK-STAT machinery. Now, first of all, after activation of this receptor, it activates a protein that is JAK. J-A-K, JAK. Or the full form of JAK is Jones kinase. Let me write here. Jones kinase. Jones kinase. When this Jones kinase is activated, this Jones kinase in turn activates another protein which is known as STAT. This STAT stands for signal transduction activator of transcription. Signal transduction activator of transcription. Now this STAT is activated. This STAT is actually a transcriptional factor. It helps us to convert the DNA into mRNA. Now, this STAT all the way enter into the nucleus, and this STAT gets bind to our DNA. Now STAT is here. Now, when this transcriptional factor, that is STAT, get attached to the DNA, it converts the DNA into mRNA. Now we can say the DNA is transcribed into mRNA. Eventually, the mRNA gets translated into proteins, but there is the formation of specific proteins which are called as somatomedins. Somatomedins. Mostly there is the formation of somatomedin C. Somatomedin C, which is also known as insulin like growth factor 1, IGF-1. Now, this, if we will see the function of the somatomedin C or IGF and growth hormone, overall they have similar functions. They are homologous to each other. But the main difference is the growth hormone has shorter half-life, but the somatomedin C or IGF-1 has longer half-life. It has around 20 hours half-life, and the growth hormone has around 10-20 minutes. Now we will see the functions of the growth hormone and somatomedin C. Now we will combine the effect. Overall they have the same effects, but we will combine the effect of the growth hormone and the somatomedin C. Now eventually this IGF-1 or growth hormone will reach to our blood. It will enter into. Now our growth hormone or IGF is here. Growth hormone or IGF-1. Explain the function of the growth hormone. I want to mention here certain points. Why the growth hormone is secreted? What are the factors which are responsible to secrete the growth hormone? As we know, in the hypothalamus there are neurons. When these neurons are stimulated, then the growth hormone releasing hormone is secreted. But what are the factors which stimulate these neurons? Let me write here the factors. The first factor is if there is increase in the amino acids in the blood. The second factor, if there is decrease in fatty acids. Third factor is there is decrease in glucose in the blood. That is hypoglycemia. The fourth factor is exercise. Fifth one is sleep. During the daytime, the growth hormone is secreted very less amount, and during the night, the growth hormone is secreted in high amounts. Now, the sixth factor is the stress, and the seventh factor, let me write here, is a hormone which is known as testosterone. Testosterone is synthesized in both males and females. In males, the testosterone is secreted by the testes, and in case of females, the testosterone is secreted by ovaries. But what is the difference? Testes secrete a high amount of testosterone, but the ovaries secrete very less amount of testosterone. This testosterone at the time of puberty goes to our hypothalamus and can stimulate these neurons, and these neurons will secrete the growth hormone, releasing hormone. Also, there is one amino acid which is responsible to stimulate these neurons, is arginine. Here, I think one thing I want to mention, that testosterone is also secreted by the adrenal cortex. Suppose this is the adrenal gland. Adrenal gland has two parts. Internal part is called adrenal medulla and the outer part is called adrenal cortex. This adrenal cortex secretes the testosterone in both females and in males. Now, these were the factors which stimulate these neurons to secrete the growth hormone, releasing hormone. Now we will talk about the functions of the growth hormone, releasing hormone. Now we are going to look at the effects of the growth hormone. Growth hormone has effects on the metabolic functions as well as on the non-metabolic conditions. First, we will see what are the effects of growth hormone on metabolic conditions. First, we will see on the metabolism. In metabolism, we will see what is the effect of growth hormone on carbohydrate metabolism. Carbohydrate metabolism. Then we will see what is the effect of growth hormone on protein metabolism, then on fatty acid metabolism. Now we will talk first the growth hormone effect on the carbohydrate metabolism. As we know, growth hormone is the hypoglycemic hormone. It prevents when there is glucose in the blood. It prevents the glucose to go into the cells. Growth hormone prevents the glucose to go into the cells. When the glucose does not enter into the cells, it means the glucose cannot be utilized. Eventually, there is not formation of energy. The ATP will not be formed inside the cells. Now, this was the first effect of the growth hormone on the carbohydrate metabolism. Look, we know the growth hormone is the diabetogenic hormone. It increases the blood glucose level. Suppose if there is a tumor of somatotrophs, we know in the tumor the number of cells increases. Suppose these are the cells which are somatotrophs. Due to the tumor, the number of cells increase. Now all these cells are somatotrophs. Suppose whenever the growth hormone, releasing hormone is secreted from the hypothalamus, it will eventually stimulate all these somatotrophs. Now the large amount of growth hormone will be present in the circulation. Now we know the growth hormone increases the blood glucose level. Now in this case, in the case of tumor of somatotrophs, the growth hormone will be more. Eventually the glucose will be more. When glucose will be more, which can result in the diabetes. Such diabetes is known as the pituitary diabetes. Let me write here. Pituitary diabetes. There are other types of diabetes as well, like there is an adrenal diabetes. Adrenal diabetes. What happens in adrenal diabetes? Actually, in the adrenal cortex, Suppose this is the adrenal cortex. If there is any tumor in the adrenal cortex, suppose this is the tumor in the adrenal cortex. Suppose these cells secrete a hormone that is cortisol, that is a glucocorticoid. As I have already told you, the glucocorticoids are also diabetogenic. When there is a tumor in the cortex, there are more cells. When there are more cells, it means the more cortisol will be secreted. Now eventually what will happen? Again in the blood, the glucose level will increase. Such kind of diabetes is known as adrenal diabetes. There is another type of diabetes which is known as pancreatic diabetes. Pancreatic diabetes. Let me tell you, suppose here I have drawn a pancreas. Suppose it's a pancreas. As you know, in the pancreas there are different types of cells. Suppose this cell is a beta cell. As you know, the beta cells secrete an insulin. Beta cells of pancreas secrete insulin. What is the function of insulin? Insulin decreases the blood glucose level. As I already mentioned, it is the hypoglycemic hormone. It decreases the blood glucose level. If due to some conditions, if due to any trauma, the size of the pancreas, or we can say if due to some conditions the pancreas gets weak, or there is any damage to these cells, damage to these beta cells, it means very less amount of insulin will be secreted. When there is very less insulin, it means due to the increase in the glucose, the insulin will not be available. Such kind of diabetes is known as pancreatic diabetes. This was the effect on the carbohydrate metabolism. Now we will see effect on the fatty acid metabolism. Fatty acid metabolism. Fatty acid metabolism. Now, the growth hormone, when it enter into the blood, it goes to specific type of cells which are called fat cells or adipocytes. Here is your adipocyte. Inside the adipocyte there are special type of molecules which are called triglycerides. Here I have shown a one triglyceride molecule. Triglyceride. This one triglyceride molecule contains a one glycerol molecule and 3 fatty acids. This is the one glycerol molecule and these are 3 fatty acid molecules. So one fatty acid molecule, this is the second fatty acid molecule, and this one is the third fatty acid molecule. This triglyceride, when undergo the lipolysis, it gets converted into the glycerol and 3 fatty acids. Now there is an enzyme which is responsible for the lipolysis. But when this hormone gets activated, this hormone gets activated due to the growth hormone. Now let me name the enzyme. The enzyme is called hormone sensitive lipase. Hormone sensitive lipase or growth hormone sensitive lipase. When this lipase is activated, it converts the triglyceride into glycerol and 3 fatty acid molecules. Now, eventually what happens? These fatty acids, or we can say this glycerol molecule, either 3 fatty acids, enter into the blood. From the blood, 3 fatty acids or glycerol. From the blood, they will again enter into the hepatocytes. In the hepatocytes, they will undergo some metabolic change. Eventually, they will form an ATP. ATP. Now, here I want to mention, only from the fatty acid metabolism, due to the effect of the growth hormone, we got an ATP. From where? From the fatty acids or from the glycerol molecule. This was the effect on the fatty acid metabolism. Now we will see the effect on the protein metabolism. Proteins. Now, the growth hormone, when enter into the blood circulation, it eventually goes to our muscles. It goes to our, while it stimulates some receptors which are present on the muscles. Now, growth hormone stimulates the receptors which are present on the muscles. When this receptor gets activated, let me show, this receptor is now activated receptor. Suppose this is an activated receptor. What this receptor will do? This receptor activates other channels. Let me show you here that channel. When this channel activates due to this receptor, what will happen? These channels are actually the amino acid channels. In the blood, when there are lot of amino acids in the blood, these amino acids will shift to these channels and will enter into the muscles. What will happen? Now the amino acids will increase in the blood. Sorry, in the muscles. When there are a lot of amino acids in the muscle, what the muscle will do? We know the proteins are actually the monomers of amino acids. Eventually, these amino acids will form a protein. Now the protein will be formed in the muscles. Protein. Different proteins will be formed inside the muscles. Now what will happen? Proteins will increase the muscle mass. Increase in the muscle mass is known as hypertrophy. Hypertrophy. Now, eventually, what was the effect of the growth hormone on protein metabolism? There we can say, on the protein metabolism, growth hormone has anabolic effect. It has anabolic effect, which means it helps to synthesize the proteins inside the muscle so that the muscle mass will increase. As I have mentioned, it will help to hypertrophy of muscles. This was the effect on the protein metabolism. Now we will see the function. What is the effect of the growth hormone on non-metabolic functions? Non-metabolic effect. Now we will see the non-metabolic effect of the growth hormone. Now, when growth hormone enter into the blood, from the blood it goes to our bones. It will go to our, here I mentioned a bone, Here, this is the epiphysis. Here is also epiphysis. Is the diaphysis. Let me write here epiphysis. This is also epiphysis. Upper parts are called epiphysis, and the middle part is called as diaphysis. And the part which is between the epiphysis and diaphysis is known as the metaphysis. Here I have drawn a plate-like structure. This plate-like structure is actually a cartilage, which is known as metaphyseal cartilage or metaphyseal plate. Metaphyseal plate. It is actually a cartilaginous plate. Now, when this growth hormone from the blood shifts to the bones, it stimulates some receptors which are present on the metaphyseal plate. In the metaphyseal plate, we know that cartilage is made up of a specific types of cells which are known as chondrocytes. Chondrocytes. Let me show you here one chondrocyte. Suppose this is one chondrocyte. On the chondrocyte, there are receptors for the growth hormone. Suppose this is a receptor on the chondrocyte for the growth hormone. When this growth hormone stimulates the chondrocyte, this chondrocyte proliferates more and more, and eventually these chondrocytes can get converted into osteoblasts. They get converted into osteoblasts. Osteoblasts are actually the cells of a bone tissue, not the cells of a cartilaginous tissue. Osteoblasts are the cells of bone tissue. What will happen when these cells inside the metaphyseal plate proliferate? They will try to enhance, or we can say they will try to elongate the bones. They will try to increase the size of the bones. Now, what was the effect of the growth hormone on bones in the non-metabolic condition? In non-metabolic condition, it helps in the growth of the tissues, mainly on the bones. It elongates the bone. Elongate bones. Remember one thing, the metaphyseal plate is present before the puberty. After the puberty, it degenerates due to the growth hormone effect.